On TVC News at 10, we'll begin in the United Kingdom, where almost the whole country is under amber weather warnings for strong winds from Storm Isha. The Met Office said amber wind warnings will be in force from 1800 GMT on Sunday for all of the UK, apart from London and parts of the southeast.
Gusts of up to 128 kilometers per hour are expected, posing a risk to life. The Met Office said it was rare the whole UK would be under such an alert. 2 amber warnings have been in place from 6 p.m. local time on Sunday, one stretching across central, eastern and western England and all of Wales. The other covers all of Scotland, Northern England and Northern Ireland. The Republic of Ireland's Weather Service has issued a red warning for the wind in the northwest of the country.
One moment, please.
The Met Office also said there was a good chance of power cuts, which could affect mobile phone signals in affected areas, while roads and bridges are likely to be shut. Rail and bus services could also face delays and cancellations. As part of wider guidance, it has also warned people to minimize risk by staying away from windows while at home. Rail companies said the storm would affect their services and warned customers not to travel on Sunday. Southeastern cancelled early Monday morning trains before 6 a.m. into and out of London to allow engineers to check for debris. British Airways also cancelled a number of flights and has apologized to customers for disruption. Ferry companies meanwhile announced a series of cancellations. Irish ferries set sailing between Holyhead and Dublin and between Pembroke and Roselare were cancelled. Storm Isha was a low-pressure weather system that brought heavy snowfall into the northern U.S. at the end of last week and has developed as it crossed the Atlantic. The storm follows Storm Hank, which hit the UK earlier this month, causing flooding, disruption, and is the 9th named storm since September.
For more perspectives on the storm Isha warning, a senior consultant in climate resilience, adaptation planning and carbon management, Dr. Justin Uday, joins us on the news. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC News at 10. Are there specific climatic factors or patterns contributing to the formation of or the intensity of Storm Isha?
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah, and good evening from me. Yes, there are indicators of climate change in Storm Isha and other storms. You know, the indicators, quickly, I will say that usually you have storms that occur. We used to have these disasters in 1 in 100 years kind of thing. That is every year having 1% opportunity that such an event could occur. But when you measure and realize that these kind of events are becoming more frequent and having more impact, having more severity and frequency and occurrence, then it's an indicator that is not unconnected with global climate change. So that is what is happening. And unfortunately, this one is not just a storm, it's a mix of both heavy rain, storms, and cold weather put together.
Talk to us about how this will affect local communities and help us highlight the long-term implications of storms like this, that's to these affected regions.
Yes. Thank you for the question. It's going to have, I think, in this case, we're going to have immediate impact, and some of those impacts you highlighted in the introduction to this news, that you're going to have critical infrastructure and operations being affected, like cable lines being impacted, delivery operations, power outages that you've mentioned, transport disruptions and cancellations that you highlighted, as well as residential discomforts or risks to life. These are all immediate impacts that you have. In the long term, going to have impact. But unfortunately, so to say, is that, or to justify again the climate change relatedness to this, is that in the UK, this is not just it's not going to be the only storm we'll witness for the month or for the week per se. We still expect that before the end of the month, there will be another. We are listening to news and hearing that from Met's office. So if you put all of this together, we have immediate impacts, and then we have long-term impacts. We also have what they call cascading impacts, impact that will be interlinked, will affect the population and cause a lot of critical infrastructure failure. So we look at this to happen in the future, but then there are opportunities also for adapting to these changes. Unfortunately, we cannot eradicate them or eliminate these occurrences. All we need to do at this point is ask the question of how do we live with these changes. So number one, for example, is where we talk about adaptation and preparedness to see that we have all our assets, like the critical ones you've mentioned, form the required resilience, to cope with this so that we can have operations. We don't need to shut down bridges, or if we need to, then it has to be on time. So every asset manager anywhere in the world, in this case, it's not only in the UK, it could be anywhere that you have climate change burdens, will need to do a kind of scoping of their assets. They will need to screen to ensure that there are potential for climate change risks and conduct vulnerability assessment, conduct criticality assessment of the assets so that they can plan what we call a very strategic adaptation and resilience for critical infrastructure, So that will need to happen to every asset manager anywhere in the world to aid effective and efficient adaptation preparedness.
We just see a plane there from the British Airways trying so hard to land on the runway. But what's it like for you outside your room? What preparations have you made in response to Storm Isha?
For me, my preparedness comes from getting the right information and looking at the map to see if my city is affected or what will happen when the ripple effects come over. I should say, fortunately, I'm not close to the coastal area. I'm in the Midlands, but I can still listen to out there what is going on. The gusts are very heavy, the wind speed, today in some places was up to 80 miles or 90 miles per hour. That is, imagine driving a car of 145 kilometers per hour, thereabout. You can imagine that. But in the Midlands, it's quite minimal compared to the coastal areas where tidal waves would have also caused extra disruptions to economic activities right there.
Senior Consultant in Climate Resilience, Adaptation Planning and Carbon Management, Dr. Justin Uday, thank you so much for joining us on TVC News at 10, and do stay safe.
Thank you so much, Sarah. All the best.
Well, away from the United Kingdom to Eastern